Yes, ma'am, you can come forward.
Motion to acknowledge.
Got a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting. Motion passed
Hey,
unanimously.
Ms. Jean.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for allowing me to speak to you this afternoon. It probably won't take me 3 minutes. My brother was George Rhodes, who received a football scholarship to Ole Miss. At that time, he met a good friend, Bob Dunlap, who owns all the Gateway stores in the Yokohama. He recently dedicated a cross of Christ in George's memory to be placed in Sturgis, which is a wonderful thing and generous. The cross is $2.25, and I thought, but that's not the beginning of it. I've got to have the red dirt, I've got to have the concrete and everything. I wondered if I could get the board to consider helping me out with the red dirt. The dirt pit is only about a half a mile from where I'm putting the cross. The cross will be on 12 and Barron Road in that corner. And the dirt pit is just right there. And if y'all would give me any help on that, I would deeply appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
I need it because there's much more coming up. I'm not a fundraiser. I'd rather help somebody that asks for help. But I would appreciate anything you can do for me.
I think we can get with our road manager, and I think that won't be a problem.
Well,
Ms.
good
Jean.
deal. Thank you.
How much are you thinking, Ms. June? You have any
I don't
idea?
have a clue. Now, the guy, Mr. Rozier, who builds these, he's the one that built the one on 25. He's supposed to come next week. I'm hoping he's going to give me a clue about what all the trees I'm supposed to cut. I tried to buy the land up at the Beaver Co-op because, you know, that's perfect. It's up high. Then I couldn't, they didn't want to sell that. And then I tried Tom Road and 12. That's another high spot. We don't have that many. And they didn't want to sell anything. So I'm putting it on my land.
What the scale? Is it going to be as big as the one in
It
Starkville?
is. It's
gonna be-
110 feet high by 65 feet. It's the same cross. Same
okay.
guy making it, same deal.
Okay.
I'm responsible for putting out the concrete and the benches, the big floodlights. I know you've seen those. They scare me. I haven't asked what they're going to be, but I can certainly appreciate the help with the red dirt. I don't have any idea how much it's going to take. But
Gotcha. Can you, does anyone here have her phone number?
I do.
You got her number? Okay. I think we can get in contact with our road manager and see
very
what
good.
we can come out.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Jean.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Ms.
ma'am.
Motion.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Williams to acknowledge that request. All those, are there any questions concerning the question? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting sign. Motion passed unanimously. Ms. Yvette Rice.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Ms.
Rice.
I am here, first of all, thank you guys for the work that you have completed on Hurst Road and neighboring roads. But on Hurst Road, we have a severe problem, especially with the white dust. It has started to impede various residents' health. They're on that road, and we are aware of the fact that we have a right to good health, clean environments, and so on. After speaking with our supervisor, I felt the need to bring it before the board, because I'm sure that once funds were allocated last year for that project to begin, there should still be some funds or some materials or something somewhere to finish the project. It's hard to believe that funds are given to start, but not to finish. But however, there are several people, along with myself, I've been hoarse for the last 5 months due to that, because I have asthma, I have allergies. My baby has severe allergies, asthma. One of her main allergens is dust. We're making trips to UMMC, sometimes twice a month, 3 times a month. We've been to Memphis, just all over the place, just trying to protect her and to extend her life, because that's how serious it has become. Been there, done that. Don't want to hurt anymore. That child has been failed by the county and the state once before, fighting for her life. We don't need her to be failed again by this county. That road need some severe attention. More than myself, live really close to the road, but we've been living there all of our lives. And we should not be penalized because of where our houses sit. I mean, wherever I have to go to make sure that this is rectified, I'm willing to go to that length because she's very important to me and I do advocate for her. And I don't stop until I get results. So, and that's what I'm here for today. This is the start. Well, not the start. This is almost at the end of the advocating. And hopefully sometimes in the very near future, we will see some more progress. I was told by our supervisor that the road is ready to be paved. So if it's ready to be paved, that's what we're expecting is done. So that's my presentation to you, and if I have to come back the first week in June with a petition or citizens or whatever we need to come back with, that's what we'll come back with. But it has become a very serious thing. We have elderly people who have really bad allergies. We have people on that road who have others very serious health conditions who don't deserve to have to breathe. Hurst Road, who don't deserve to have to breathe that in. Sometimes I lay down at night, can't stop coughing because it's coming in through the air conditions and what have you. One lady lived further back off the road than I do, and it has become a real burden for her, and I think she's 81, 82 years old. Y'all, come on. We need help on that road. We need that road paved or something on that road to minimize the dust. That's what we're asking for.
Thank you, Ms. Wright.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, the residents of Hurst Road has scheduled a meeting with me on Friday,
Okay.
and I meet with them Friday.
Okay, well, yeah, according to what you had stated yesterday, but I'd already made provisions to be here this afternoon.
Right.
So I carried through.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just seeing where that.
Motion to acknowledge.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously. Any more citizens that's not on the agenda that would like to approach the board for up to 3 minutes? If not, then we'll move right along. Today, we have a recipient of the 2023 Mississippi Association of Supervisors County Employee Scholarship. And we are certainly delighted to present this scholarship to Mr. Joshua S. Word.
All right.
He is the son of
Yeah.
Mr. Sean Word and Miss Carrie Word.
Well.
And we're certainly a recent graduate of historical campus. And the scholarship reads as following: Joshua S. Word, 2023 recipient of the MAS County Employee Scholarship awarded by the Mississippi Association of Supervisors and the Octavia County Board of Supervisors. And we also have a check for the $500. And we're going to present to him the certificate along with the check, and we want to wish you the best of success in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I don't know, y'all come over here and front of the seal. We'll get one. A little bit down.
Proud day.
Yes, sir. How you want to vote?
You present it to him, that the whole board can get up there, that's great.
And we got Daddy up there.
Yeah, Mama, never get them off,
Mama,
yeah.
the Dad and Mama, that's it.
You want some supper tonight,
Give everybody from all different directions. Certainly appreciate what you went. Thank you. Good to see you, Miss Kay. Much feedback about it.
Oh, tell him I said hey. Thank y'all.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed.
All right, Mr. Joseph Murphy, Regional Subdivision Concern. See, he's not here at the moment. We'll move right along. Mr. Frank Nichols, 14th event at Safe Room. Good afternoon, sir.
Greetings.
Right, right.
Honorable President Painter, Ms. Miller, Mr. Williams, Mr. Howard, Mr. Montgomery. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize my classmate, Rob Robertson, of course. A man I worked with about 20 years, Sean Word. Congratulations, I remember when that man was born. Today, I'm here on behalf of Stark Vegas Juneteenth Committee for Unity. We are looking for a place to hold a health fair. But before I begin, I'd like to ask the rest of the committee. We have here, can you please stand? We have here Vice President, Ms. Londa Haddix. We have our chaplain, Pastor Abdul Lee, and his wife, who is also, I'll call up in a minute, as well as my lovely wife, Ms. Tammy Nichols. Okay, we're asking to use the safe room on June, it'll be 17th, June 17th, that's Saturday morning, from like 6 to 3 or 4 that evening. What we're planning on doing is hosting a health fair there, a free health fair for the community, and First Lady Lee, can you come up and kind of briefly explain what's going on there, but nothing will be charged to the citizens. We're planning on doing various checks of the body. So you come on, talk about it.
Evening. We're planning to do a health fair, community health fair for Juneteenth weekend. So basically we'll have free blood pressure checks, information about heart disease, stroke in the Black community, and we'll also be doing information about mental health, information about counseling. We'll have somebody from the Starkville School District there to help parents with attendance. We'll have nutritionists and fitness coaches there. So that's what we plan to do for that weekend. If we can have the safe room. Thank you.
Also, we're asking for any kind of donation that you may have to sponsor this. Of course, the biggest event we have is the Jazz Festival, which is held on that Saturday. And we're asking everybody in the community to come out. We have 3 great artists. I don't know if you ever heard of Dr. Ben Tanker. He's a pastor, as well as got a reality show out now. That's a pretty big hit on TV, mainstream TV. We have Dion Yates, who's a saxophonist out of Detroit. And we have Mr. D. Bradley, who's out of California. But funny enough, he lives in California, but he's born in Birmingham. And during the 70s, he would tour up through Starkville in Columbus with a band called Pooh Natty. But now he's a national recording artist. So it's great to have him here. And I just want to thank you guys for all that you do for the community. Anytime we call you guys to help, you've been there. So we'd like to thank you for that. Do you have any words?
We thank you all in advance for your donation. Thank you.
That's all we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for coming. All right, board, you've heard the request. What's the pleasure of the board on the request?
Motion for approval of use of the safe rooms.
Got a motion by Supervisor Williams. Is there
That's June the 17th.
second by Supervisor Howard? Is there any discussion on the motion?
Discussion would be, and I don't have a problem with it, but this group, like any other group, we've got to have a base, some sort of fee, even the city. What would we set that at? And I think Kristen may need to be here to do that.
Yeah, and I think our administrator has been working out some details on the use of the safe room also.
We met last week and Attorney Robertson is working on a contract. I don't know how far along we are with that.
We got the contract for that will be ready to show you guys. We just plugged in your information that y'all had, but that's with the city. This would be a separate,
Yes.
totally separate shindig.
So in other words,
To approach it.
any group like the city, I think they charge like $250. I've heard $500. But
Now, keep in mind, we cannot, my understanding of
It's
how
not
that
for-
grant work, and
Yeah.
I know you're not suggesting this, but we can't make money off of it, but you can cover costs. That's
because
what-
we got to have
that's what
somebody
we're-
there
Yes, so I have no idea
to
what
pay
that
a
would entail.
bailiff, and
I'm gonna be present.
you'll be there.
I'll open
Okay.
it and I'll close it. Now, as far as this other technicality, I'll figure that out. But I'll definitely be there.
After you open it, you gonna stay the whole time
I will
too?
be on the premises the entire time.
Alright. Fair enough.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, let me know by the clerk voting sign. Motion passed unanimously. All right, moving right along to the next item. Ms. Whitney Cox, Community Council introduction. Yes, ma'am.
How are y'all?
Doing great. How about
Good,
yourself?
good.
I'm a first timer. All right. I am the new county administrator for community counseling here in Ottawa County. Mr. Raphael Evans was the former county administrator. He's our new executive director. So I've been in office since January. Our annual budget's $21.9 million. Here in Ottawa County, it's $3.9 million. The Board of Supervisors contributes approximately $45,500 to that. Our services are the same. We're providing the same amount of services. Our crisis services work really well with the Ottawa County, especially Mississippi State here lately. Our Navigate systems, crisis management. We have some new stuff. We have partnered with Starkville School District to offer anger management groups and anger management counseling for free to individuals. Since I've been in office since January, I have done about 35 to 40 risk assessments with the youth in the area. And so in doing that, that's a free service we provide to the Starkville School District, but also to the families that are there. We have had to send 3 inpatients since January because they were deemed serious risk to harm themselves. I'm sure you guys know here in Starkville we have been affected in the school district by youth suicide. It seems to be becoming a really big problem, and so I have a meeting set up with the superintendent in the coming weeks. Bullying, suicide, self-harm seems to be the biggest issue impacting the youth here in Ottawa County. We're in the process of starting up a community action coalition that's going to be putting on community events for free for parents and children and adults in the area. So we've been really putting forth a lot of effort and focus on our children, because the children are the ones that are struggling the most here in Ottawa County. Everything else is pretty much the same, but those are my updates with the anger management and the school bullying and programs there. Thank you. I have goodies for y'all. They told me to bring stuff, so I don't know how exciting it is.
That always helps.
So cups, my business card is in each of those cups. I lost one. I'll get that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ooh, you want the lime green?
I'll stop by.
There you go.
No, I'll stop by.
Thank you. Oh, did you not get one?
That's okay, I'll stop by and get one. I need to stop by and tour.
Yeah, you should.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
make the motion to acknowledge.
You got a motion by Supervisor Miller, and second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let me know by the clerk voting sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right, moving right along. Mr. Jason Williams, the track, will be here. See, he has that name. Ms. Phyllis Benson, Brownfield Grant, update. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Well, I cleared the room.
Only you can do it.
What do you mean it?
Seen it.
Okay. It's been a while since I have been to see you about the Brownfield grant, so I'll remind you that the Golden Triangle Planning and Development District received a grant for Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental assessments from EPA. And as you know, with federal money comes federal rules. How many times do I have to say that? But nonetheless, a Phase 1 has been completed. And the process is that we have to contact Mississippi DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality, and we also have to contact the regional office in Atlanta of EPA. And we have to get both of their blessings in order to take that next step. We have approval from MDEQ to move forward with the Phase 2. Unfortunately, we do not have the approval of EPA. And in their defense, they have received a significant increase in funding, which meant that their workload has significantly increased without additional staff. And on top of that, their director, who was our rep the last time, has retired. So they're short-staffed and almost have gone radio silent on us. So I'm here today to tell you, I know that there's been some discussion about abandoning the phase 1 and the phase 2 portion of this project. I also know that there's been some discussion about whether or not this particular grant could fund the cleanup. And as we've discussed from the get-go, it cannot. It can only complete phase 1 and phase 2. You can, on your own, not through the Planning and Development District, turn around and apply to EPA for a cleanup grant. But you have to have that phase 2, which will outline a cleanup plan. So, that being said, if you did choose to hang with this particular grant, get the phase 2 completed, get the report that tells you about the asbestos containing materials and a plan of remediation, you then on your own can apply to EPA for a cleanup grant. Best case scenario, it will be the 4th quarter of 2024 before you have approval to move forward with the cleanup. So we're way into a year out for you to actually implement a cleanup grant, if indeed you were successful with that endeavor. So, I'm here today to find out if you want to hang in there to complete the phase 2, or if you want to walk away and me work with your architectural consultant to try to obtain some quotes in order to move forward with your own asbestos containing material survey. I have talked to our consultant, and they have submitted a proposal that they should be able to do it for $5,800 and start within 2 to 3 weeks. So
That's the phase 1 or phase 2?
phase 1 has been completed.
They
Two is-
phase 1
phase
says
2.
you do have some
Asbestos.
asbestos contained. Phase 2 now
And
is
possibly
to
some
actually,
mold.
yeah, phase 2 is now actually to do the testing.
Correct. That's
Okay.
absolutely correct.
And they can do that for about $5,000 and start in about 3 weeks.
$5,800 is their
And you
estimate.
need that phase 2 in order to even be able to apply for the
Cleanup grant.
cleanup grant.
Correct. But if you do indeed decide to apply for the cleanup grant, it will be funded no earlier than the 4th quarter of 2024.
But phase 2 right now, you've heard from EPA, but not
We have heard from MDEQ,
EPA.
but not EPA.
You don't have any idea when you might hear from.
This is our
EPA?
second brownfield grant, and
Okay.
we did not have this experience with the first grant.
Okay.
We used the same consultant. So I really believe that the hiccup lies in
With
Atlanta.
all the money, that's.
Yes. And I do not, by any stretch of the imagination, intend to throw stones at the hand that's feeding us. I don't want to throw stones at the regulatory agency, but that is where the problem lies right now.
It's just it's just.
And I think it's strictly a staffing shortage that they are experiencing.
Choke point right there. But if we do the phase 2, then that data will go to the EPA. That'll be out, and then what do we do at that point? Then we're in at that point that we know we have asbestos, and so.
And even if you choose to go forward on your own, I would think that
Still would need
you're
to do
going to
that.
have to
We
have
need to do
it.
phase 2.
You're going to have some type of survey written report which identifies where it is,
What
so
it
that a
is.
remediation plan can be put in place, so that whenever you go out to bid, whenever Majors puts your bid package together for demolition, then that can be part of the bid package.
I guess here's sort of the dilemma phase two is relatively inexpensive, about $5,000, so that's not.
$6,000, yes, sir.
It's not a lot of money, but here's the sort of the dilemma. We don't know when EPA is gonna move forward.
That is
So we're
correct.
talking not a lot of money, but maybe time frame, which then we've gotta wait at least until 2024, the last quarter.
Well, that's when
to-
it would be funded.
to
They'll
be-
accept
to-
applications again this fall, but it would be the fourth quarter of 2024 before you have an announcement and could move forward with the demolition.
So I guess sort of the dilemma is.
Time
do
is
we-
money.
Time, yeah, time, that's what we've gotta decide. Whether we wanna wait, I mean, the building will be still sitting there for sure 2024.
If you choose to go after
After that one.
after the cleanup grant.
But we can't apply.
We could still do phase two, apply for that grant, and
I don't think we can apply for the demolition grant if we don't do
Phase
phase
two
two through
with our
this.
brownfield grant.
If we just pay for it.
no,
then that
but I'm saying
eliminates-
if we do this through them and then apply for it, let's just say next year, first of the year, whatever pot of money comes along, can you at that point say, no, we're not gonna wait and go your own way? At that point, would that phase two be applicable to going your own route as well?
Once you get the phase two,
You
it's.
gotta get that done anyway, and you might as well apply for it.
Do we have any idea how long it'll take phase two to actually be done, or are we just still
Not
waiting?
long,
Probably,
so 2 weeks
I
or
would,
so.
It
he can
wouldn't-
start in 2 to 3 weeks, probably a month, and would be done.
It won't actually take phase two a long time. The only dilemma is waiting to hear from EPA to give you the go-ahead.
Correct,
To
and,
do phase
and
two.
we've been waiting.
Okay.
We do have MDEQ's approval. It's the regional office that is.
If that building is not dropped this year and it's not done this summer, and this is my thoughts here, we're looking at an entire year before we can ever start it again. In other words, time is kind of the issue that we're dealing with here at this point. I don't see how, if it's gonna take a year to get that, the grant on that other side, I don't know that we'll ever, the building will probably be dropped by then, I guess is the thought process.
And I guess another little caveat in there is even if we approve, correct? So it's not guaranteed that we'll,
Receive the cleanup grant,
Mhm.
you're correct,
Okay.
it's a competitive grant.
okay.
The last one that I know of, let's see. Mary Holmes College received one to tear a building down out there, and then also, West Clay School received one up to tear. It was just as recently, within the past couple of years.
Okay.
My only concern is in January, whenever we go back into session again, I would like to at least have us move down the road a little bit so that I can ask for some more money from the state side to help get this. However, y'all are the
Yeah.
bosses of this, and I'm gonna do what y'all ask me to do.
And it's the same here.
But we have to have phase two anyway.
And it's whether or not you want to wait on the grant or you want to
Pay for it.
pay for it. And it'll cost you about $6,000.
Maybe we can put a time frame. If we hadn't heard anything in a certain amount of time, let's just go ahead.
By the next board meeting?
By the next board meeting, let's just go ahead and pay the 6,000 and move forward. I think that'll be.
Sounds good to me. Got a motion? Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Dunn. Any questions concerning the motion?
One last thing though, in other words, that's through the brownfield, the 5,800. We're not, you're saying if we do phase two through this way, we're not paying 5,800?
You're not paying, if you go, if
You're
you
just saying
use
we can't
our
tear the
grant-
building down, there's no funding for that unless we ask. But I'm just guessing, and I don't wanna put it on camera what I think it would cost. I don't see that just being a whole lot to tear that building down, once they know what they're dealing with.
Well, the first thing is, once the asbestos testing has been done, there has to be a bid because
abatement.
because the abatement part
gonna
of
get
it,
it
and
out
that
of
can
there.
get pretty expensive. Abating it before you can even demolition it.
But the assessment will include a plan of
Of
demolition.
abatement. And so you're saying that this, but doing this study right here, that you're saying phase 2, when would we get that report back?
Hopefully, as soon as we hear from EPA, I would say within 4 to 6 weeks.
That'd tell you what direction to go. Go ahead and do that. Whatever comes back, then we could pivot at that point, still put in for that grant for the tearing of the building down. And if it comes back and it's a crazy number, you know, there's asbestos everywhere, then I think that would dictate the decision we made moving forward. You know, if it wasn't much at all and it's something that we could swallow and handle.
Whether you went
It's-
after the cleanup grant.
Yeah, it's
Then-
probably, because the testing phase of it will be this. They'll go in and they'll have to pull at least 2, what you call homogeneous samples, at least 3 TSI samples, mobile samples. So it'll be quite a few samples pulled, and they will tell you every area where there is. Now, if you got a certain amount, they've even had to encapsulate buildings before they tip,
Yeah.
because you can't release
The
it.
dust and all.
Yeah, in the air. So the testing phase will actually tell you how much you got.
So I say we go ahead and do that, don't you?
I would say if it's gonna push us way out, let's see what we've heard from at the next board meeting.
Okay.
And so,
Okay. I'll see y'all next couple of weeks.
okay.
All right. Has anybody been out to North Star?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff moving out here.
Rock and roll hoochie coo. I think it's the way the song goes.
All those in favor, let me know by the pro vote sign. Motion
Thank
passed
you.
unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Phillips. You have a great evening. All right, Mr. Patrick Warner, Jaws of Life. Afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
All right. Got a couple things, well, 2 things. From the previous board meeting, I got the quotes back on the Jaws of Life. Y'all should have them in your packet. As I've previously stated, our jaws are aging and deteriorating, and I think we need to kind of start replacing them. As a matter of fact, one of these sets of jaws is going to Maven Fire Department out on the highway. They don't even have a set there in a truck. And if y'all, you should be aware of it. We have a lot of wrecks right there at the crossing right there a lot, and we don't even have jaws on the trucks. So I think it's very important that we move forward in getting these. The other set I'm replacing is some of the first set of jaws we had in the county, which y'all know that's probably 20 or 30 years old. I've got 2 quotes here. I would like to go with Hearst, which they are the cheapest. Should be the second page. It should be with MES. If it's okay with the board, I'd like to go ahead and purchase 2 sets.
2 sets?
Well, I'm sorry, 2 sets.
2 sets.
It's 2 sets. When I say set, usually the Jaws of Life are a cutter, a spreader, and a ram, and that's a set.
That's a
and then
set.
I need another set for another truck. So,
And the
yeah.
batteries and the chargers.
And the batteries and chargers are included in that also.
And one going to Maiden, the other one going to
They're probably going to be going to Sturgis.
Stud.
I've got to. I'm actually in the process of evaluating them because we have several sets that are outdated, and I'm trying to put these in the best place. Yes, sir.
And that's at Hearst?
Hearst. Well, MES equipment, but these are
That's
Hearst
Hearst
equipment.
is the
I'm sorry.
brand.
I'm sorry. I said Hearst equipment, but MES is the equipment supplier.
I'm sorry. Okay, good deal.
You're still evaluating the other ones?
Yes, sir.
And the other-
Yes, sir. I know the one set's going to Maven because they don't have a set, and like I said, some of them, that's a bad spot right there on the highway. We've had a lot of bad wrecks there.
Motion by Supervisor
For
Pujol,
approval.
second by Supervisor Howell, and then questions on the motion. All those in favor, let me know by the pro vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
One other piece of business, we did sell the tank out on John High Road the last board meeting. The gentleman who did not win the bid, we have another tank at the central shop. Mr. Collins is, we've discussed it, and it would be nice to get it out of his way at the central shop there. The gentleman who did not get the bid offered to purchase it for $12.50. This tank is actually smaller than the tank that was out on John High Road. In my opinion, I think Mr. Collins agrees with me. I think that's an appropriate amount. If the board's willing, go ahead and let that gentleman have that tank also. But that's
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, that we sell the church tank for $12.50.
Is there anything else we need to do on that legally? No? I'm just asking.
it's been sitting there for.
Well, I mean, it was advertised correctly and all, whatever.
Yeah. I think we advertised the last one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, I put it out.
I would probably say let's go ahead and follow the same.
You wanna advertise it too? Okay.
Okay.
Has this been put on the list of course it doesn't have, never mind, I've already asked this
We
the
didn't
last
have
time.
didn't have a tailored paperwork,
All right,
nothing. It's
describe
just
it.
been sitting there.
Make sure
Same
get
deal.
it described correctly so that I can account for it, is what I'm trying to do.
Sure.
Mr. President, can I amend my motion?
Amend
then?
your motion based on,
Well, now, on the first one, we didn't get technical on the first one now, because we didn't do, you talking about advertising, you talking about bids and sealed bids and all that stuff.
oh, no, I'm talking about just doing it, putting it on our.
In the paper, in the
Right.
newspaper or something, just.
I can put it in the paper.
Did we declare surplus?
That's, you're nailing where my brain's at.
I thought it was declared
I thought so.
useless because
Years ago.
they're of no use as a water tank. They're really not.
All right, I'd like a motion to declare this on surplus first, and then let's go on to the second step of this.
All right, so I'll rescind my previous motion if that's okay.
Matter of fact, let's include, just do what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll make it surplus. That's my motion to amend it.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams, that we declare this tank as surplus property. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote. Motion passed unanimously. All right, thank you, Mr. Pat. You have a great
Thank
day.
you, Pat.
Thank you.
All right, moving along to the next item. Ms. Campanella is not here. Mr. Collins, Road Department bids for tree cutting. Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening.
Evening.
Ms. Farmer, do you have your quote on that? I just didn't bring mine out. Yeah, this is it. We had 3 bidders to turn in a bid, and we were kind of on that second bid. They only gave a cost to cut and pile, and I think we need to actually go with the bid to remove those. Because of our manpower, we are actually overpowered now trying to remove debris that we actually, from the citizens' debris and the road debris that we're cutting limbs.
That clam truck is a moving truck.
It moves. So I think that we need to go with one of the bids to remove the items as well as cut them.
That's the American Arbor.
Yeah, I think the one in the middle is B.O. because they didn't give the price to remove them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will
They
not
the one in the
remove,
middle
Yeah, they
not
won't.
remove.
They
The
won't.
Chancellor.
And the bonded, what are they bonded for? How much are they bonded for? Did we specify that?
They're bonded for $50,000. That's what their bond was set at.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought you would rather have them to remove it. I would.
yeah. We got a lot to do in 2023 besides that. Well, so your recommendation is to go with the American Arbor, I would say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big pill to swallow, but if you've been down any county roads lately, we
lot of
got some
trees
dead
back farm.
trees, man, lean and down. So,
That's just.
That's the one, okay, yeah, that, it
Those are
confused
just
me
the
too, you
ones
gotta
on the
look.
paved roads.
I got it. Yeah.
And, we gotta try to hopefully revisit this in another way on the gravel roads at a later time.
and like I said, these numbers that you had as far as the number of trees, there's 6 or 8 more that have died, then they also, you had them put a per tree.
Yeah, put a per tree
Yeah,
bid
so-
in, and if they come in and have trees, all they have to do is notify them, and we'll go out. I'll send someone out to mark those trees, we'll make a note of it, what road it was, and all of that, before they cut them.
What about power lines for them? In other words, they gotta be rocking and rolling and going.
Well,
We kinda,
yeah, that's why they had to put it in the bid, so if they
Oh,
damage property,
well, no, I'm just saying as far as, do you want them to call to say, hey, drop power line at 101 Main Street,
yeah,
109 Main Street?
that needs to be on them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that needs to be on them.
Well, I'll make the motion to go with American Arbor to cut our trees and remove them. So,
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions on the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir.
I was called out, well, about an hour ago, in fact, out to Southgate. There are 2 trees. The gentleman called me out. They are between,
trees on Southgate.
yeah, on Southgate. Starting at 647 Southgate, there are 2 trees.
Okay.
647 Southgate, going all the way down to 801. 801
Okay.
Southgate. One is completely decayed, ready to fall. The other one's just leaning real bad, been burned real bad, and about to fall.
I saw that burn.
So that's, yeah, so it burned, that's 2.
Okay, we'll check those out, and if it's something that we need to take care of, we feel like, and they're not marked, we'll get those, we'll take care of those and get them out the way. Anything that I feel like
Right.
is in danger of falling in just the near future,
Yeah.
we'll get those out of the way.
And I know I will. I'll ride my district to see if there's others that hadn't been on this list.
Okay.
And
All right. Oh, I have it's not in your packet, but, this is a covered request for a gentleman wanting to enter property he's not ready to do any building. He just needs to get access to the property.
Can we do all the culvert requests while he's here? Would that be
We do 'em
okay?
all.
Yes, we need to,
Motion
do 'em
for
all.
approval on 876 Sykes Road.
You can
Okay,
have
what
that.
others do we have? We got one.
1791 West Wade.
1791 West Wade.
And Mr. Collins came out and looked at a cross drain too. That,
we need attention
yeah.
on Wade Road.
That's on Cross Train.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. I've looked at so many roads the last few days.
Also.
Go ahead, go ahead.
For the cover, we got one for 214 John Starr Road. Cover replacement.
Will you give them the number for that, the phone number?
Okay, then.
Some-
Property
Miss
owner-
Thompson, Gwen Thompson, I think.
Property owner is the telephone number 312-0362. John Starr. 312-0362.
She
Gwen
emailed me,
Thomas.
I don't know.
We got 1791 Wade Road. We got 876 Sykes Road. Any more?
Yeah,
Tanner, okay,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I think we've already done this one, but can we double check? It's 3287 Craig Springs Road. I thought I already put in that request for that. The phone number's 285-8889. But we'll go ahead and get a motion anyway, but I think we've already done this one a while back.
Yeah, she don't want to cover, that's the closest.
Me and you
direct.
looked at that years ago.
Her
Down, you talking about
close
that
by
ditch?
that. That's
Yeah,
not
It
even
goes in
direct.
behind his house.
Down beside his house.
Okay, so what are we doing now on the?
Well, that's not her address, just somebody on Craig Springs Road, close to 3287 wants a culvert. The phone number's 285-8889. Kathy Collier is her name. But we did something for Craig Springs. I don't know.
We got several got a good bit of work going on right now on Craig Spring, where he's doing some covers and reconditioning some ditches on Craig Spring.
So we got 3 cover requests, we got them together?
Yeah.
214 John Star, 876 Sykes Road, 1791 Wade Road,
And this
let's
Craig
do the
Springs.
one,
and Craig Springs.
That's 4.
Okay, 4.
A young man is getting ready to do a subdivision of Reeves Road, that's Tannacrest Drive. So do a cover to get him off the road, so we can start developing the property. Tannacrest
Reeves.
Drive,
R-E-I-V-E.
R-I-E, supposed to be R-I-E-V-E-S.
R-I-E-V-E-S.
R-I-E-V-E-S, Reeves Road. That's all the way down by the fire station.
Okay, so
All the
we
way down
got,
to the end. He has it marked.
there's 5, we got all of them marked. Any clarification? Got them all?
That's Tannacrest Drive.
Tannacrest.
We just talked about,
Tannacrest, yeah.
so for this number 5 adopted 911 road, this is what we're talking about.
Should be 5 total.
All right. Got a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions on the motion? All those in favor, let me know by their post vote sign. Also,
I think that one should be at least 30 feet covered.
Yeah.
Because it's coming into a subdivision.
okay. Also, we got a right-of-way of entry request for 794 John High Road. Property owner Anthony Smith. Drainage work.
Yeah,
Motion
that's,
for approval.
that's, well, what is happening, as you can see from the picture, it's a cross drain that comes across the road, and the water comes across that cross drain, and the ditch is crooked, and it ends up under and beside his house. And he was wanting to block it, and I told him he couldn't do that because it'll actually cause a pooling process on the other side of the road. But he wants us, or we need to go in there and reshape the ditch, straighten it up, fix it where it will hold the water to keep it out from under his house, and then put some material on it to help hold it.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passed unanimously. Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir.
The situation on 16 Section Road, that's, is it 2881? Where we need to go in and do some adjustment on a little drainage project?
Yes, yeah.
Is it 2881? Is that?
I believe so.
Okay.
I
I
believe
want to
so.
ask the board the authorization to go in on 2881, and it's not going to take very much. I don't think it's going to take a whole lot of.
No, it shouldn't
needs to
take
be done,
over
but we
a
got to
couple
get off the
hours.
right of way to do
Yeah.
what needs to be done to correct the drainage problem at 2881, 16 Section Road. I think property of Robert Moore.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passes unanimously. Anything else, Mr. Collins?
No, there's nothing else from you all.
Thank you, sir. We certainly
Oh,
appreciate
yes,
it.
I do have something.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I got something. I was called out to Southgate. A gentleman called me out there. He said he had been asking about some potholes being filled on Southgate. So if you
Okay.
would check
Yeah,
into
we-
that situation, appreciate it.
We did. We went in there, so I
Yeah.
think we got everything took care of on it, and got them all pretty well patched
Yeah,
out.
but I think it's some additional ones
Okay.
there too. They around the curve around 801. There's a
Okay.
pretty big pothole there, and if you would start looking at those from 647 on around to 801 Southgate,
Okay.
that's a pretty bad area there.
All right. Yes, it needs a good bit of attention, really. But we'll go in there and get the potholes patched.
Right.
If-
Okay, I have one thing. Grace Lane, we never adopted that road. It's a subdivision that was built off Craig Springs Road down there. And he said that he contacted the engineer a long time ago, that's been in there for a while for us to adopt it. So what do we need to do?
The engineer
Yeah.
needs to send us something saying it's up to standards. to adopt.
Can you get up with, will you send something to Clyde and ask him about Grace Lane? And I can
Actually,
get him the contact information if we need to. But, because that's a subdivision they built off of Craig Springs, and they're wanting us to go in and grade the road. And I had to tell them the other day we couldn't because it had not been adopted yet.
So actually, what has to happen, it does have to be brought up to county standards. And I had to go rounds with this with some gentlemen that were building in my district years ago. And Clyde's office is going to tell you this. It's not, Clyde can't be hired by the people of that road or that homeowners association. They have to hire their own engineer.
Are you thinking that's what happened? Because he said he built it to the standards he thought.
Has he paved?
Is it paved?
Is it paved?
It's got to be
It
paved.
gotta be paved, to
The
meet.
road has to be.
To meet, county specifications.
That's what it said. And whenever
Unless we're gonna relax the guidelines.
the guidelines that I saw,
We just get Clyde to check into it for us and
Yeah.
see, okay, and just come back and see if there's any resolution on it. If there's not,
I'm interested to know because I've got a lot of roads that we turn down because they're not paved.
And if we relax them too much, we're gonna have more roads than we can.
oh, okay,
It's got to be paved.
okay. That's fine, he was asking and I'm just asking. I told him I'd bring it to the board.
You're right, just have
I
Clyde.
can let them tell you, but I was trying to complete the sentence.
We
Yeah,
got a lot of
you're right,
people
though, John.
calling about roads that they want adopted
But I'll
just because they want them graded.
let somebody else tell you.
Pass that.
How was it with you?
Well, she gave me hers, so that's why I
Oh, okay.
replaced it, yeah.
No, I don't need one.
Mr. Collins, the road that Mr. Murphy was concerned about is, Breeden.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you got a chance to look at that. I think
I
it's the
did.
same situation
I
that
did.
Ms. Rice was talking about. So
Yeah.
whenever you come up with some type
Well,
of.
I went out, I measured it, checked it. The only thing I wasn't able to get, I didn't have time today because I had to go out and try to get our chip spreader back into operating, and still ain't got it quite fine-tuned yet. I spent most of the day out there with it, but it's working, but it's not. It's got to have a little bit more work done on it. It was abused while I was gone, so
I can
I
imagine.
know it was glad to see me. But anyway, I didn't get a chance to get my cost on my asphalt. Basically, all that road is going to need is it's going to need the asphalt, manpower, the material, the chips, and that to get that road back into. It just was too late. It was too cold, and the material did not stay there. And from what I can understand today, and what the guys told me, and what they showed me, it wasn't enough asphalt ever put on these roads anyway to make them stay together.
Yeah.
Because I think they was running the machine on. They demonstrated to me where they was running it at, and that machine has a setting on it. They was running it on 0.32, and that was about 2/3 of the asphalt it needed. So I told them no, bump it up to 0.44, and even they could tell the difference in it. So that's one of the reasons they wouldn't stay together, even if they had been done right in the right time.
Not enough.
It wasn't enough material put on them. They just could not hold together with not enough. It was, if you leave gaps in that first layer of asphalt, it has nothing to bond to but the ground and the rocks. If it don't hold the rock, it ain't gonna bond to the ground. And so that was what happened to your roads. And that's why they was instructed to set the machine back, and they done what they was instructed to do, Joe. That's reading. They didn't stay together.
When are you gonna start working on the?
In fact, approve my grader operator so I can put him down there. I got a gentleman, one of the older gentlemen, is gonna come back. He's gonna run one of the motor graders for us, and that's why I want to put him at.
Start to put the surface
block
down,
back down
on the roads.
Yeah. So that's I've got enough truck drivers in place now. I think they're gonna work out pretty good from what I've seen and going out and kind of working with them a little bit. So I need, if I get him back, I'll have somebody I can send out there along with one other man, and I think they can take care of that. And these other guys can kind of move forward on some of the construction stuff we looked at. I've got we've got everything approved on the bridge approaches on U. We went out yesterday, not yesterday, we went out last Friday. We looked at them. Good bit of work in there. I think we'll be able to clean up the shop yard back there with debris, dirt, and filling the creeks in and getting that stuff done. So all of that's being looked at, and the weather seems to be kind of coming our way, and so we're gonna try to start rolling.
While we're on dirt, same thing with Longview Road, when the cross came, that road being built, they got the overburden dirt, they were happy for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard Miss Eskridge came up here earlier. Is there, in that area, I know red dirt would be optimal, but would there be a opportunity to have overburden dirt right there? And
I think from what I looked at, that Sun Creek bottom is gonna take just about everything, and you know we got a lot of trash dirt in that yard. But if it's anything left from that, it's gonna be a little bit.
Okay.
So let me work with that. Let me look at it. I'll come back to the board next meeting, and I'll kind of let you know where we stand with dirt. And I need to get the gentleman's name again out there by you that's got the dirt pit. Will you?
Okay.
You can just text it to me sometime. I need to talk to him about getting dirt to make the field on the road. Yes.
Yeah, well, before, two situations I encountered today, just today. The one about Hurst Road, that road is ready to be paved. It's been set up with crusher on and everything, and I know you might have to do some patching, you might have to do some.
I went out there and looked at it.
Some work on it.
And it needs to be regraded.
Yeah.
Smoothed back up.
Right.
Repacked, watered down, and I think we then can pave on it, just like it is.
Okay, in conjunction with that, if we had some roads like that needed to be milled and need to be set up, like Southgate, like Williams, like some of the other roads that need to be milled and set up, are we gonna do some of those, or we still gonna have to contract those out?
We're gonna have to contract the milling part of it, because of course we don't have a mill to mill them up. I'm working on that now, but that's gonna be something in the far future because of now. Some of y'all are probably, it's just like the new cars you get. They don't make machines anymore until you order them. Yeah. And so a lot of time when you order a machine, but all the milling machines that we can get our hands on, all of them are actually the ones that we used to lease. I talked to a gentleman we used to lease from Puckett Machine, and he has not a one machine that we can use the mill with. So it's we
coming,
can't get our hands on.
It's coming, but it's not now, I guess is what you.
Yeah.
I guess I need to ask this question. I know last time we talked about money being gone. I guess I'm okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that discussion was brought up last time about money being gone. So I guess we got some pots we gonna.
Everybody just got their budget.
Well, all I can say is I will have to get with Mr. Lois. If you don't have money, nothing I can do. The ones that do have money, because as you know, we can't. That's one thing we can't do. We can't work without money.
That's right.
Well, the entire 4-year road plan budget is overspent. The entire budget is overspent.
You asked where it came from. Did you say where it came from, or do you know yet?
Where the majority was spent, I do know where the majority was spent.
I still got mine.
I still got $500,000.
I'm overspent.
Yeah.
Now, everyone have bond money, everyone have some bond money, but the entire pot for the capitalization is overspent, regardless of what it say you have left, it's overspent.
It's not, you don't have.
There is none. But you do have bond money, so anything we do now will have to be applied to the bond.
There are a few adjustments on the budget that was given, and that I guess I need to discuss that.
Some adjustments were done?
Some adjustments on the budget that was given out in reference to District 5. Yeah. We're gonna free up some funding.
I knew last time, so I'm just
Wanting to know.
yeah.
Anything else, Ms. Cobb?
That's
All right,
it for
sir,
me.
you have a great evening, sir.
All right, thank
Appreciate
y'all.
All right, thank you.
Let me know when you're gonna get started, so I can tell you exactly on those roads. What part?
I wanna start this week, the middle part of this week.
Hold on a second, Ms. Cobb.
So if I can get him in here, I can get him started.
We met last week about the safe room. Can we get the road department to go out and put the number 7 or 57 we talked about?
Well, so in the safe rooms parking lot, it's that bigger gravel.
Mm-hmm. You want the smaller gravel?
Well, your suggestion, walking wise, either 77 or 87.
No,
or
if you want to walking wide on the ground, we need to go back with number 7.
Number 7.
You already got a bed, so you don't need a bed. You just need something that kind of like finalize it. Yeah, and we can take number 7 and put in there. In fact, we can take the chipping machine and actually spread it in there like we want it.
Just keep up with the cost on that too.
Yeah.
That'll help us out.
Okay.
All right.
And so that being said, you want that done as soon as we can on the for the safety.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good. Moving right along, next item, Ms. Livingston, anything for Chancellor? All right, administration, candidate.
Payroll changes for approval?
You got your payroll changes packet with the
Motion for approval.
Second by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by their appropriate vote.
I'm a yes on everything but 956. I'm a no on 956.
Okay, can you make a note of that? Yes on all
Let's see,
payroll
that was
changes?
1, 2.
Except 956.
I'm a no on that one also.
On 956?
Yeah.
So in other words,
In fact, we probably need to have some discussion in relation to that.
okay, so we got a motion, we got a second discussion.
I'm a no on that one. I mean, that's
You're a no on?
on 956. Yeah, I am.
Well, do we wanna, if we wanna have a discussion and it's a personnel issue, do we
Yeah,
wanna?
personnel
Do we
issue,
wanna keep
go
our
into
road
the-
manager here?
I'll
with us?
keep
We
going.
may need
Go into executive session on that.
to- We may,
Motion that we go into executive section
Or
on
close.
9,
Close
closed
session.
section to determine whether or not we go into executive section on 956.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. So what we need to talk about on 956, I guess, is
Yeah, y'all have to go.
where they'll,
That's a 911 road, Town Crest Drive.
Motion for
motion
approval.
by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
If you'd like to participate, well, we got the advertisement for the Miss Hospitality program book. We did it last year, so I just need to know if you all want to do it again.
so
Motion by
we'll do it.
Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
And we need to acknowledge the OCA's regional medical continuing disclosure statement for fiscal year 21-22.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
That's all I have.
All right. County Business Board Attorney.
All right,
Hey, before we get into that, I got one thing real quick. And I got the right of ways and everything, got it filed. I want to program Morris Road to be paved. That's my motion.
Second.
And I do have the money.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passed unanimously. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Attorney.
all right,
Howard.
I have got. First of all, I wanted to ask the commission, I'd like to go to Jackson to go to the, I think it's the dam.
It's
places that
workshop.
have-
It's that workshop,
on
the damn workshop.
The damn workshop. There's a lot of, I hate to say it like this, but y'all, there are a lot of questions that pop up that I don't even have a clue what they're talking about. And I think this workshop would at least help me, especially dealing with what we've got coming up. So I'd like permission to go to that.
It's very, very informative. I went to the one up in Verona, last week. Extremely informative.
Well, just the language that's used in some of this stuff is it just catches me off guard. So I would, as long as y'all are okay with it, I'd like to go ahead. And I'll probably go to the one in Jackson. Also, there is.
Do we need to take action on that motion?
Motion by Supervisor.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, that, if any, I would just say any
That's
member of the board.
approved travel,
Yeah.
that's approved travel for anyone who wants to
Who wants to
attend,
attend.
right?
There's no overnight stay. is it?
And you can go anywhere in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, there's one coming up, what, two?
But
what's
if you're
the
gonna
next
stay
one coming up?
overnight, you have to have
Meridian,
approval for it.
One in
okay.
Meridian.
Unless you're gonna pay for your own overnight stay. But as long as you're in the state of Mississippi, you can go look at any project you want.
Yeah.
All those in favor, let me know by the vote time. Motion passed unanimously.
The other thing, and thank y'all for letting me go to that, I have a free place to stay in Jackson if I decided to stay overnight, but I don't see that being an issue. We met last week, about a contract from the city. This is a contract after meeting with them, and it plugs in all of the things that we discussed. I don't know that I brought enough for everybody or not. Tell you what, if y'all will share this one. If y'all will take a look at this, the most important part of this is everything else is just about exactly the same. The most important part of this is gonna be starting right here, and this is what we have added to this. I've already talked to the mayor about this, and they have to pass this before their board tomorrow night as well. But this basically plugs in all of the information that we had discussed last week. You'll notice that we're asking them to contribute $25,000, and then and it basically goes into the things like the maintenance of the flooring, the lighting, anything that has to do, I guess the awning outside, and even if we can get some information on how to deal with the acoustics in the room, all of those things.
Kristen had a good idea.
Yeah, well, and some of this may not cost $25,000, and then again, it may cost a lot more than that. But they're going in with us up to $25,000 on their side of it. The main issues that you need to know is if they don't use this, if we break the contract with them, or if they break the contract with us, it is prorated for that 2-year period. But they're going to give $25,000 to help us with these issues that are out there. So there is a pull and a push on this. It also they're going to be helping pay the electric bill and the things like that of anything, and they will be looking at that at the end of the year. So if there is there's a large amount of time that they've used it, and it's obvious that they've used more electricity than what they paid for or helped pay for, they're going to go back and redo that.
I guess I've got a question. That's our building. That's the county.
Yes, sir.
Building. If we enter into this contract with the city, will they be looking for a say-so? It's for just like the Juneteenth.
Right.
Are they gonna be saying, well, no, we don't want you to rent? Or
No, I've got.
That's in number 2, right there.
I covered us.
In other words, the county's got absolute right at the bottom of the page 1 right there. It's got the 1 on it. Like I said, we tried to bulletproof the best we could. And be fair to everybody. I'm sorry. We have the absolute right to schedule activities in advance of cities. So if we say, hey, we got to have it on the 17th of June for Juneteenth.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the absolute right. before anything else.
You can't come in there and schedule a whatever. And like I said, it
We
was,
basically got a bulletproof, I mean, we're getting 25,000, they're getting a
I
place
mean,
to
y'all already
live.
met, everybody's comfortable with that, sis, right? I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
you two and Ms. Farmer met with everybody?
No.
This is my first time seeing the revised.
We haven't seen this revised.
Oh, I thought you met with the mayor, I didn't know.
We did, but that was for the contract that she submitted to us.
Right.
Now we got to send this back
This
to
is
them.
what we're, right,
Oh,
they
okay.
And see if they're gonna
This is our
accept it.
first time.
Oh, I misunderstood the question. We've got to send this back to them and they've got to approve this. This contract is pretty different than the one that they sent us.
Okay,
So
so
I
we just need to
kinda-
make the motion to approve the one that we,
Well, I would like for our county administrator to have the opportunity to read over
Say
the
it.
contract. I think, you know, I know you're protecting us, but just to,
Not just me, but Kristen, Ms. Campanella, because she's the point of contact for it. And if we're just getting it today, have she seen it?
She's not even here.
I know, but I'm saying-
No, she had, nobody's seen anything. Now, we discussed a little bit of this back and forth. The day that we were here, everybody was okay with the things that are in there in terms of, because these were the things that we discussed. And she was good with that. So I think everybody's good with it, just a matter of whether or not y'all are good with it.
So if you're good with it, we take action on it tonight. If not, then it's just a continuation.
Wish she had gotten to us sooner to really look and discuss. I mean, I don't have a vote, of course, but there were some supervisors that had some concerns. So whatever y'all decide,
I had concerns. I'm sitting right where he's sitting and the mayor's right here, and we hashed out our concerns, but there again, that's just me. But now,
I thought we were gonna draft just a blanket contract for individuals like the organization that came to sign off on it, to know the do's and don'ts.
That was not discussed at all. This was the contract. The day that we talked with the mayor was that.
well,
Supervisor Montgomery, is that what you were kinda implying?
yeah, I mean, well, I do apologize. I thought you had seen this too.
Well, I didn't finish this until this morning.
Okay.
So it was, she had no time for me to even let her look at it.
So I'm good, but again, if we need to, we may need to let our county administrator look at this and get with Kristen and all the other parties involved. I don't wanna hold it up, but I don't wanna push it over the line when it's premature. So, I mean, some of the wording,
I guess my question, this is between the city and the county.
That's
Correct.
So who holds responsible, just like Juneteenth?
That's what
They
she-
go in and do some damages or something.
Exactly.
Well,
Who, then,
it falls on.
it's on us.
It's on us.
Cause the
So-
city,
so there needs to be a contract for anybody who goes
Facility
in and
use,
uses the
yeah,
building
facility use
to
agreement.
sign.
And that's what she's recommending. She's recommending that we authorize him to develop a facilities use agreement for the safe room.
Which is absolutely a good idea.
Yeah.
My thing on this one was, this was just what we did with the city.
and here's the knee jerk on it is, okay, and I said safety, it is a safety issue. It's ultimately a safety issue, but it's an issue, is say somebody spills Coca-Cola on the floor, Powerade, red, colored drink, whatever. And that's gonna go right down in that concrete as it sits now. It's not sealed. The sealer, that was the issue, is if we start hosting these events and even the pickleball people and they're in their, their tennis shoes scuffing the floor, that's gonna be on it. It's not, we need to seal that floor. Kristen had us an estimate on getting it sealed, but it'd be, kind of like a shop, like a real good high-end shop where it's got that paint color on it and it's got like chips on it that give you some
Yeah,
grip.
that's what I was
No
gonna say, you
slip
don't want
and
it
fall.
a slick.
Somebody fall, hit their head, break something. That was a lot of my concerns were safety concerns, like the awning there. Somebody fell on that.
These are two totally different types of contracts. The one with the city is they're putting their foot forward as far as helping with some stuff. They're putting money into this as well. What we're talking about with these other projects, whether it be Juneteenth or whatever,
That's
at
a
some
different-
point, we need to have a discussion as to whether or
Yeah,
not we
that's a
want them to
different
have
contract.
some type of umbrella insurance policy or something like that to protect, and I'm not trying to pick on them. Let's say it's, I don't know, let's say it's some different organization that wants to come in here and put a program there, and are we going to require some type of event,
Like a,
policy of some
yeah,
sort?
that you've
Like
got
they
a
do for the in front of the
sportsplex.
well, the sportsplex, or whether they do this for the
VFW or
right,
any, I
whatever
mean,
it is. So my question is whether or not that's what we want to do. Now, this with the city, they have their own umbrella policy that's standard and typical. We have our own umbrella policy that's standard and typical.
and you better put a time frame on it too, how many
Right.
hours they can use it. If you just do it for a blanket day, you better say it's
Right.
this amount for this many hours. Anything over that starts costing them.
And with Juneteenth, it's a little bit
Mine would be
different.
my suggestion.
Yeah,
We
'cause
we
if
do
not,
have
they're
our
gonna be
county
in.
administrator that's gonna be there, and I think there's gonna be event preparations and things like that for people that will already be there. But in the future, we obviously need to have a discussion as to how we want to approach this, if we're going to require that. Because my issue is gonna be the liability that how many people are gonna be there, the liability that's gonna be attached to that, who's gonna be responsible for opening and closing, and how we deal with the expense as far as y'all are concerned. Now, this with the city is just different because it's just a city, it's a governmental entity that we're dealing with.
I guess they'll have somebody opening and closing for the pickleball and.
Yes, sir.
Well, we actually, Kristen or somebody.
Kristen said that she'll
She'll do
they're
that.
arranging all that.
So with this agreement,
this one.
you all in agreement with this agreement?
Well, I am, but I don't wanna,
Yeah, this one only for the county and the city.
see if they have calls with us. So some of the storage,
So look at this agreement. If y'all don't want to take any action on it now, we take action on it whenever. But I do think we do need to authorize him to develop facility use agreement for use of county property.
Is there a wish for a time frame? The city is wishing for a particular time to have this.
Right.
They would love to get this as soon as possible, and I say
They wanted to approve it tomorrow.
Right, they wanted to be able to
Yeah,
approve
they-
it tomorrow. The
It's
reason.
really short term.
This is all
We
been
got a long time.
back and forth a little bit, but they would love to get it tomorrow if they can. Y'all,
But now they're not gonna approve this tomorrow, because this is different from what they sent us.
no, we talked today.
Yeah,
She knows that this is different. I've sent it to
Okay.
her. That was what I was
It's
kind of
more
waiting
than
on.
us, so I don't see the 7 being able to deal with no better than 5 deal with.
No.
I don't see it now.
But there is no, I'm not pushing y'all one way or the other. I think they would love to have it. Y'all do with this what you wish. I do think they would love to have it ready for them tomorrow, but this does, everything that was discussed last week has been plugged into this particular contract. Now, they may not go for it. I mean, she has no way of knowing what they will do.
I think as long as the county got the authority to cancel events and schedule events that they would like to have scheduled. And that is woven into this contract, I believe.
We have absolute right, anything we want to do, we have absolute right to do it.
I'm good with
Yes.
it, but I don't wanna.
Anything else on that now?
I like that
I just
part.
think other than Kristen
I like
maybe
that
not
part.
being, if Kristen hasn't seen it, but I think it's good. I mean, and I know they wanna move forward. They've come and they've asked several times.
I'm good with it, but again, Kristen and our county administrator, I understand there are some concerns, so somebody make the motion and second it.
Well, we just move, you got any more business?
I do have, what was it? All right, we received this, I need to ask the question, Dr. Rogers, she came today, and there was a email that was sent out, and she referred back to it saying that we had not responded. Well, some of the questions that she has, these are questions these are technical questions about road type issues, and I guess she's requested me to respond to the email that she sent out. I guess my question would be is, would y'all like me to respond to this? And if you do, I'm gonna have to get with somebody else to find out some
Well, I
of
know
these
some of the
answers.
issue is that our road manager, he's not here now, went out there and met with me on some of the issues. I mean, they just keep piling up.
Right.
But he needs a transit to fix some of the issues that are out there. And our transit's broke, and he's getting a new one. And like everything, it takes a minute just to get that. And that, you know, came out of his mouth. He needs to shoot it. You know, he needs to know the grade before he can do. I don't know what all she's wanting done.
Is that something that was done by the county or by the construction?
Yeah, the county came in there and tried to. She said the bank was too steep and that it was eroding down. So the guys came in there and put some riprap to try to prevent that from sloughing down into the ditch. And it's held well. It's not perfect, but it's that and some of the, you know, those concrete the markers that, like an official survey mark. She's saying some of those, for instance, if this is Longview Road and here's Rogers Road, they have some on this bank, right? Or there's one here and one on down the bank and one at Bluefield Road. But when they came to Rogers Road, they also put some right here on her that we can't move those. What was that? We can't move them, but they could lower those. But we can't touch those. We do that, we're breaking the law. And that's where the surveyor
You're
put it.
answering a lot of the questions that I had because I didn't know really where to even begin with some of
And,
these.
you know, look, me and Miss Peggy have had agreements, disagreements, and that's okay. But she said there's nowhere else like that. Well, I went down Poorhouse Road and crossed over that crazy looking new intersection there and finally got back and went to across South Montgomery and right there to the right. What's that neighborhood? Sunnyland? What is that? If you'll notice, those markers are all up and down the same as right there. So I can't move them. You can't move them. No one in this room can move them. So that's a couple of the issues. Now there could be more. What are some other issues on that paper I don't know about?
It really and truly goes to almost exactly what you said, and there was apparently some fencing that may have been removed that she has put in here. There's something about water flow is deteriorated the side of her property. There were several issues.
That was the erosion, and they tried to stop the erosion.
So, and honestly, I don't know enough about what is actually occurring out there, and I don't want her to think we're not.
No, yeah.
You know, we're not listening to her or getting her response, but these are responses, like you said, that need to come from either a road department or from an engineer or somebody that can.
And our road manager said once he gets his transit and he can shoot that ditch, he's trying to carry that water to where it'll go back to that ditch. He may have to put in a culvert that goes all the way down that ditch to where you don't have to worry about that steep embankment. You can just have it buried right there. But he's trying to prevent having to do that. But until he has that transit.
Then I think probably the best course is to allow him to figure out what needs to be done, and then if
I would say you can say in that email, which is exactly what he told me, is he's waiting to get his transit back so he can shoot that.
I will respond that we are not in a position to answer all questions yet. We've been working on that. And just leave it at that. The only other thing that I have.
Let her know something. We should let her know something.
Let her know that we're working.
Let her know that he's getting his transit.
Getting the transit fixed so
Yeah.
that it can be shot. That fair?
Yes, respond.
Right.
The other issue is I've got a feedback from Nick Ivey, who is the executive director of the Mississippi Soil and Water Conservation Commission. Easy for me to say. He has asked us to make a decision. Let me just read this to you. In order to start working on the Train Cane project, the Mississippi Soil and Water Conservation Commission requests the October Board of Supervisors bring up this matter in the next board meeting in order to vote on the county's wishes for MSWCC to administer the planning and design phases of this project using engineering firms that we currently have on contract. Now, I talked to him because I wasn't quite certain I understood what he wanted. And he told me, he said, look, what I need for y'all to do today is you want us to move forward with this, they need for us to do a board order basically stating that we wish them to administer the planning and design phases of this project. So that's
So it's the
what-
group, not an engineer, a specific
Right,
engineer.
it's not a particular specific engineering group, it's for this Mississippi agency, Mississippi Soil and Water Conservation Commission, for them to move forward with the project.
They gonna do the design.
I don't know that they will do the design.
They're gonna do
I
the
think
planning
they're
and
over it.
They're gonna do the,
planning.
they gotta do the study first.
Planning,
The study,
They got
right?
the hoops that they have to jump
Basically,
through.
this is, what this is saying, the money is ready to be dispersed. We need you all to go ahead and make a board order allowing us to take over this project and get it moving.
Exactly.
We will use whomever we choose as one of our engineers that's on record, on our,
List.
that on our list,
Approved, yeah.
whomever it is. We can't tell them who they're approved engineer. It might be some of the ones, but
Fix the problem.
yeah, we just need.
So you made a
So moved.
motion, second.
Okay. It's been motion properly second, that we issue this board order concerning
That's
the
good.
drainage project. Are there any questions concerning the motion?
No question. Sound good.
All,
If you want to, it needs to be, the board order needs to be written just like this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It needs to say,
administer the planning.
Word
and
for
design
word.
phases of the
Word for
project.
word.
MSWCC to administer the planning and design phase of this project using engineering firms that are currently have on contract.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I got an email.
In other words,
I forwarded your email too. with your
If we
return.
wanna get started in fixing the county lake down,
He
this
called
is
me.
how. We need
That's
this,
who called me
this
when
is
I
it right here. This is what we've been actually waiting on.
Yeah.
Right here. This is
So
it.
we-
The
we
last
good with-
eye.
we responded,
Got
I
it.
guess.
I told him I'd call him back after.
Okay,
we're done.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, good enough. All right, any more questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let me know by the proposal sign. Motion passed unanimously. Anything else, Mr. Attorney?
I don't know, something else I was gonna do.
While we're on the county lake issue too, I guess we can, there was some recommendations sent by Mississippi Engineering that needs to be done out there to address some issues and do some more, investigating as to what's going on. So I'm a motion that we move forward with allowing them to do an investigation.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning that motion?
Now, the only question I would ask is, do we need to involve the MDEQ at all?
They've been contacted, they've been down the loop.
Okay.
Motion to, I'm sorry, I missed that motion. Motion to allow investigation.
And they recommend.
Huh?
To accept recommendations concerning our Tillamook County. Lake.
So they've seen these recommendations, MDEQ has?
They've actually been on site.
But it's not just the way you say slack, but
What would you prefer?
Recommendations from Mississippi Engineering. Move forward with the recommendation.
My only thing is if we would make sure, Ms. Farmer, that Mr. McCurcher gets a copy of the recommendations, what they are. Thank you.
Does this come out of bridge fund?
it's gonna
Bridge
come out of the county
fund.
fund.
Gonna come out the same fund where we cutting these trees out.
It's out of bridge, but it's not out of capitalization.
Right.
Out of the kitty.
Out of the kitty.
Mr. Lewis?
Anything else from any?
Was I supposed to bring in, the issue of that?
Hey,
We need to report, we
There's
have a
some
board
big
order
ones.
for further
Huh.
investigation.
some big ones.
All right,
The reason why I asked that, I don't know how the rock project goes when we do creek cleanouts. And the one on Skinner Road, that creek deal on Skinner Road, there's a rock job that's gonna be done.
This is Tom Bigby?
Tom Bigby, yes, they're gonna do it. Tom Bigby's gonna do it, but they won't pay for, we had to pay for the rocks that they put down.
Oh, I don't know.
I
So
just
we
wondered.
levied to pay Tom Bigby, so they don't invoice us. We send them funds monthly, but if this something outside of that contract, I don't know anything
Yeah,
about this.
you know, they only
I
do
think we
that.
talking two different projects.
Yeah.
here.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's,
know what-
that's the one on Skinner Road is what we're talking about. That when we do that one, that is gonna be a rock project. In a rock project, I'm just wondering, when Tom Bigby Waterway Management District clean out a creek, if they're doing a rock project, where those funds are gonna be.
I haven't
coming
experienced
from.
that, so I don't know.
Yeah, we've had.
You're talking about material, like.
He's talking about
that's
riprap.
material.
Riprap.
That's material, yeah. That's
Well-
He
riprap.
must I guess he correspond with the road department. I mean, I don't
We,
know.
we got a motion on the table right now, though.
I thought
You
we-
talking about a different.
Yeah, we approved
Oh.
that one. I think we approved that one, I believe.
Not yet, we got
No,
carried.
carried it
All
over
those in
now.
favor, let me know by the vote on sign. Motion passed unanimously. But
I've got one more thing, I'm sorry. Y'all asked, you asked us to look into, the gentleman, Patrick Henderson, had some damage done to his vehicle. We actually met on it, looked at the information. The damage on that particular vehicle, y'all, if you'll notice, it's on the side of the vehicle. He claims that the rock came down and bounced and hit his vehicle. Now, here's the problem that we're gonna have. I don't know how the rock
bounce
hit right.
sideways?
I don't, and I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm just saying.
And hit it twice.
And that's one of the, right, it not only did it hit it once, it hit it twice. The issue is going to be if the insurance kind of turned this down because of the fact that it hit the side of the car as well. But we have other people that have turned in, issues that happened on these roads or what have you, and we haven't paid for those either. So the problem we're gonna run into is I don't see how we pay for, I really just don't see how we pay for this.
I don't, well, it said in the comments of the handout the first handout we got to insurance, their findings showed that it didn't happen because of that rock. I mean, that was their
Right.
findings.
I didn't want to say exactly what they said, but the bottom line is,
Facts be facts, Rob.
I can't find.
How is anything, you can't, how you gonna hit it off the side and then it hit it again?
Right, and therein
But
lies
now,
the
if it
problem.
would've busted his front windshield out and there was a 10-pound piece of riprap laying in his lap, well then,
Right.
I'd say let's pay it, but.
Well, not only this, what if we do this one, are we gonna go back and do the
Well,
other ones?
Rob, let's see, that other one, it's not a seven precedent in my opinion. All the other ones, each one of them is different.
I agree.
They're
Each one-
different,
Each one of
right.
them is different. So my thinking of it is that if it's not, and this is what I'm telling you, if it's not the board's wishes to address it, then of course you can write them a letter and just let them know that due to inconclusive evidence or whatever, however you wanna fix it up.
Yes, sir.
That the board took no action on it or whatever.
That's, however y'all want me to deal with it, I will. I just didn't want y'all to think we had not looked at it, because we looked at it.
And if you wanna get technical, I guess you can base it upon the insurer's
Yes, sir.
perspective.
Well, I contacted the road department and asked questions, and no one said we couldn't find any workers in that area at the time, based on my questioning. No one was there.
That's where the investigation led.
I think the supervisor training made a good suggestion.
I just need to know what y'all wanted us to do. And I've got my.
I do have one thing, and I don't know if we need to go into session again, about one of our vendors and the road, and,
That probably would be a good idea.
I move that we go back into executive session.
Closed.
Closed session to determine if we need to go into executive session to discuss one of our vendors.
I'll second.
The motion probably second that we go into executive session to discuss.
But also bond fund is woven into off top road, so bond fund is subtracted twice.
If there's
Top
anything that
section.
is,
Talk about office so we can look at it together.
Yeah, right.
and if there's anything that says Poorhouse Road, just, that's what I think he's concerned about, is that,
Oh.
that
No, it's
I.
something-
That email, but I emailed you that.
Yeah,
Okay.
right,
Okay,
I got
all right.
that.
So that's cleared
Yeah,
up.
you
Okay,
cleared that.
all right.
Should be.
Okay,
Is
thank
it?
you.
Let's
Thank
put it
you.
on me. Let's go.
Did that email clear that up though?
That cleared it up.
All right,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay.
Come by the office and you and I'll talk about it.
Okay, fine.
All right, any more business bring for the board before we proceed to close? From what I can tell, we can stand adjourned until the fifth, unless there's, do we have anything else that we need to set
Not
for?
that I-
Okay, if not, then we'll stand adjourned to Monday, June fifth at 9 a.m.
Motion for.
Motion by Supervisor
Second.
Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, make me know by the clerk voting sign.
Aye.
Motion passes.
With 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah.